Morning. It's June 4th and wanted to do a little update on the garden. And the sweet potatoes here are climbing right up these strings really nice. They're not too far from the top already. We've got our lettuces are flowering. We're going to try to get some seeds out of these guys. Stand back here and give you so they're about, I don't know, some of them's about 16, 18 inches from the top. I got to wrap them around like this guy right here. We'll just take and wrap him. Try not to pinch the leaves. Here's another one. Just try to spin it around there. And then there you go. They're growing pretty nice. Here's our butternut squash. We've got a couple more in the front that are doing not quite as well as these. They don't get as much sun. Here's our, excuse me, get the gate. Here's the Sarpo mirrors. They're doing pretty good. They're starting to fill out these containers. And our potatoes, they're still chugging right along. You can see we're getting some yellowing in the bottom. I've been pulling out the yellowing leaves. Try to keep them looking as good as I can, but they'll be done at the end of this month, so they're gonna come down anyway. And here's our onions. They're starting to bulb up. There's the Elsa Craigs up front and the Pattersons in the back. And here's our area where we had our lettuces. We've actually, over Memorial Day weekend, eaten all the heads of lettuce. We got 2 more in the fridge, but I cut the heads off and I left the root structure in the ground, and as you can see, it's growing out more lettuce leaves. So we're going to let these go. I do have more lettuce seeds started in my 5-ounce cups, and we'll replace these, but we wanted to see if we can get them to come back. Now, they may not form a head, but we can eat the leaves off of it if they come back and do nice. So they're doing okay, and they're coming back. We almost got the patio done. We ran out of pea gravel, so I had to go get some more pea gravel, and we're going to finish that little corner up for the cats and get it going this weekend. There's the box of Pattersons. They're not doing quite as well as the ones in the ground, but they're not far behind. Our last little head lettuce we have there, it's doing good. Our little chili pepper in the pot, it's doing good. We've taken out all of our strawberry plants because they were going on their 5th year and they were producing more runners and hardly any berries, so we took all of those out because you're only going to get about 4 to 5 years out of strawberry plants, and you have to redo them, put new plants in. They stop producing berries and they start producing runners, and we didn't want that, so we're going to go with a different variety. Here's our blueberries are starting to do really nice. I'm going to get in here after they produce their fruit and cut out these older canes, and that'll stimulate some new growth at the bottom, hopefully. So they're doing great. Potato in the pots, it's coming along pretty good. Got some yellowing in the leaves there. These Sweet Success cucumbers, this guy's almost to the top of the trellis. The leaves are looking kind of funky. We got something going on there. I don't know if it's under fertilization or over or some kind of blight issue, but the fruits, look at this guy. They are just putting on cucumbers like nobody's business. I'm very happy with this variety so far. We got a lot of blooms and a lot of cucumbers in there. Here's the other plant. It's climbing up the trellis. I've actually had to add some stakes and put a little more wire in there and trellis up the runners off of this plant. But you look down here at all of these. So that's not bad. Our friends have cucumber plants and they're not even producing cucumbers yet. And these guys, that's probably 8 inches long right there. I'll have to get a tape measure out and measure it, but it's got cucumbers all up through there. And there again on the edges, I don't know what that is. Might be some kind of, I may have to get my spray back out and go ahead and spray it again. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And our cabbages, they're doing great. I took the screen off this morning and let them get some full sun. It's nice and cool today. We've had some 90s, really hot weather, but you can see how nice these guys are doing. We did have a little problem here. Something got in the top under the screen and started eating the head out of this thing. So we got some spray on it. You can see the leaf there. I noticed that, and then I looked, and that's part of it. We grow enough that we can have some, the animals can have some, and not that we want the bugs to get any, but they got to get their share too. So it literally destroyed the head of this guy, but it may come back. I see the leaves coming back. We got some spray and put on there, and some BT. We used that because we could pick it up at the Rural King right across the street. So we got some BT and sprayed on there. I've got some, I sprayed it first with a neem oil, and then they said for worms in the forums and on the videos, get some BT, the same stuff you spray on your corn to keep it organic. So we put some of that on there. We've got some more stuff coming. It's Captain Jack's Dead Bug, and it's spinoside, so it's organic too. So we're going to get some of that, and if that don't work, then we're going to go to pyrethrums. I had a viewer of the videos, a subscriber to the channel, suggested getting some of that. That's what they use, and it works great. So we're going to go to that if this don't rectify the problem. But here we've got another nice little cabbage in the container doing well. The bugs hadn't got to it yet. Our blackberries, they're doing great. I think we lost so many canes last year in the winter. I think I'm just gonna leave all the canes in there this year and just let it fill in and do what it does. This will be the first year we've ever done that. You can see all these canes coming out. So we're gonna let this thing go this year, let them all grow and see what happens. We've always trimmed them back to 2 to 4 canes, but we lost about all of our canes last year. So we're fortunate enough that we had enough that they're starting to flower out now. And my wife went and got, on Memorial Day, she got us a bird bath. Probably not a good idea to put it right here by these berries with them flowering out, but the birds were just suffering from all this heat we've had with no rain. We've had 3 weeks with hardly any rain here at all, and we had high 80s and 90s. So we got them a bird bath, and they're loving that guy. Our ginger, it's starting to come up and do really nice. You can get down in there, you can see the ginger coming up. It loves being shaded by these berry plants. So it's starting to come up and do its little thing. Our onions back here, in the fire ring, they're still doing good. Our volunteer potato that just come up, it's doing good. Actually, no, I planted that one there. The volunteer is back here along the berry plants. I don't know how a potato got in there. But these are our Kiowa berries. Those berries back there are triple crown thornless. And this is our Kiowa. They're thorny, but this variety berry makes the largest berries, to my knowledge, that in the blackberry plant varieties. We had them as big as golf balls last year. The videos are in the playlist. And there's our volunteer potato. It's coming up. These are coming back after they burnt down to nothing. Looks like we got some damage from some flea beetles. So I'll have to get some spray and put on there. Let's see. We've got this box. It's coming back out and doing great. That's Baby Dutch variety there. And our beets and our barbecue grill, they're doing pretty good. They had a little yellowing. I put a little fertilizer on them. Little nitrogen fertilizer to kind of green up the leaves. And they're starting to come back a little bit. First year we planted in a barbecue grill, so we'll see how they do. These, like I said, we lost most of the canes, and we've only got a few flowers on these guys, but we got nice canes coming back out. We're just going to let them grow this year. We're not going to cut them back. And here's another, this is another one of the cucumber plants. And you can see we've got cucumbers on it, but they're nothing like the ones over in the corner that's in the bigger containers and get full sun all day. So, come around here. We've been harvesting some of our winter wheat. It's getting yellow, so I've been cutting the tops out of it because the birds have been tearing it up. So I'm trying to get it before the birds get it. And then we have our, these are our beets that are going to seed. And you can see there we're getting some nice beet seeds forming on the heads of these things. It's just covered with seeds. So they're drying up, so we'll be able to pick some seeds, Lord willing, if they make it. And there's our green beans. These are Kentucky Blue. It's a hybrid green bean that we planted there to grow up this trellis. It's pole bean, so we got them some trellises. Here's our first planting of our Yukon Golds. They don't look the best, but they're finishing up. They probably only have... they've been yellowing pretty heavy. I've been pulling out the yellowing leaves. So they'll probably finish up by the end of this month too. Our Marconis, they're starting to put on peppers, but they just do not like these boxes. They are not going to produce like they did on the other side of the house. Last year we had the best year ever. You can see we got peppers on there, but the plants look stunted. I checked the pH on these boxes. It's a little lower than than they like it. Over on the other side, we're testing out about 6.5, and these boxes are 5.5, where we had the potatoes planted the year prior with the sulfur in there. So that's my fault. I'll make a suggestion. Always test your soil before you plant in it. So we're getting it rectified with a little bit of lime and water, and I mix a quart of water with a tablespoon of lime. About every 3 or 4 feedings, I'll pour a quart of water with a little bit of lime in there, and they're coming back out of it. They were real yellowing, but now they're starting to put some peppers on at least. So it won't be a good year for the giant Marconis, but you can't have everything you want. Last year we had the bumper crop. So we're happy this year just to see some peppers on there. Here's our Halcinator tomatoes. We're starting to get tomatoes and blooms. I had to correct the pH in this soil too. You can see it's a little lighter green on the bottom than it is up at the top. So the pH in here was 5.5 to 6. So we're trying to get that up to around 6.5. And here's our, these are our red snappers. And they're starting to come back out of their thing. We had a major issue with the pH being way low in these boxes too. We were sitting at 5 to 5.5, and they should be 6.5 to 7. So we're slowly getting them up with a quart of water and a tablespoon of lime. About every 3 waterings, we'll pour that on them, and now they're coming back out. They're starting to green up a little bit and look pretty good. We're getting tomatoes in there at least. You can see it. So they're doing pretty good. Here's our sweet potatoes. These are Georgia Jets like the other side. They finally reached the top of the trellis. I had to get in here this morning. You can see when they get really tall like that, I'll let them go another 2 or 3 days and they'll bend over. Then they'll be flexible enough to wrap them around the trellis wire. And here's our Halcinator tomatoes. We're getting the pH corrected on these guys, and the pH in the boxes are about the same, but what I'm noticing a difference between the red snapper and the Halcinator seems to be a bigger plant with more blooms right now, but that don't mean that's how it's going to finish up. So we've got some tomatoes in there, quite a few blooms on these guys. Like I say, these would these would be doing a lot better had I had the soil corrected, but it kind of is what it is, and we're gonna make do with what we have. We're happy. We're getting some tomatoes, but next year we're gonna plant them on the other side, and I think we'll do better next year on our tomatoes. But so far we're getting blooms and we're getting tomatoes. Here's our other lettuces that are going to seed. These are long-standing. We planted them early in the spring, so if you want a lettuce variety that holds up well and lasts a long time, that's what I think it was Paris Island or long-standing. I'll have to look that up, and I'll make sure to put that in the next update video of what that variety is. And here's our butternut squash in the container here, and I've actually started tying it to the lattice panel here to get it trellised up. It's actually made it to the top, so I'm feeding it in and out. You can see the string there, and it's doing pretty good. And here's our last cabbage, the one that's not protected. I did spray it with the neem oil, and I haven't had to spray it with the BT like the other guys over there, because it didn't have hardly any damage on it, just a little bit around that leaf right there. But it's doing pretty good. I probably should fertilize it. It's not doing as good as it could in this container, but I kind of neglected it, worrying about everything else, trying to get everything else going. So there we go. There's our garden update. And everything's starting to do good. We had a terrible snap of really hot weather. We usually don't get 90s till next month, but they're here early this year, and with no rain, that's been pretty bad on us. So this week we're going to get some cooler temperatures, and hopefully that'll help us out. So there's our garden update. If you liked the channel and what we put out on the channel, our videos, give us a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.